We are just about to head out to Block. We've heard both there are plenty of moorings, don't worry about it, and there's not a mooring in the entire pond. You're never gonna get one. We'll see. It looks like a beautiful day for the trip over. A little bit cloudy, so we shouldn't get fried. Not too much wind, although the afternoon is supposed to be a little windier. We'll see how it goes. Making final preparations to head over to Block. Hopefully for the summer. We'll see. If we get a mooring, we're good. If we don't, we'll have a nice weekend. But the weather looks pretty good for now. That is better sound, having two engines running, except that one is a little bit smoky. Currently biding our time as we wait for this fishing boat to finish up fueling. Been here for about half an hour already. And it's a windy day, so keeping her in steady is a little bit of a challenge. It looks like they're finishing up, hopefully. This is Brewers, just south of the rail bridge. Really nice place to stop for fuel. Pretty sheltered, usually not too busy. Pretty easy tie up. She is a big girl, and just the main tank takes a lot of fuel. Mystic River Marina, another place where you can stop and get fuel, ice, water. Again, Mystic River, we don't usually stop here for whatever reason. I think the approach is a little bit trickier, it's a little less protected, so we do prefer Brewers. There's one more place to do a fuel stop, which is the least protected of all of them. We rarely go there. Not only is it the least protected, it is the busiest. A lot of people are not. They don't know how to play nice down there. Stop here, but it's right next to Ford Lobster House, so not only can you get gas. This is Abbott's Lobster House. We've never been. I've heard it's really great, but we are too close to town, and there's so many fantastic restaurants within walking distance of our slip that we don't usually come down here. There's room to dock a very small boat, but there certainly is not room for us. In the shipyard, there is Costello's Clam Shack. So that's another great place for seafood. But again, do not come down here because we would have to get in the car and drive down here. And it's much easier and much nicer just to park the car for the whole time we're at the slip and walk down into town. So here's another spot. This is the end of the river where you can get gas, diesel, ice, and this is Noank Shipyard. Very open and exposed, usually very busy, but they do have several pumps quite a different distance apart. They have water, ice, nice place to stop at the mouth of the river, so you don't have to go as far up the river as well. So that's pretty nice. That is a beautiful my favorite private residence on the river. It is a lighthouse. I don't know the history of it. I'll find out and put it on here later. But it is a gorgeous lighthouse at the mouth of the river. And coming up the river right now, we have the Argia. You can take rides on the Argia from downtown. They take a nice sail out into Fisher Island Sound. And you're probably losing me in the wind. As we get to the mouth of the river, the wind picks up. And I have work to do, so I will leave you with a little view of the Argia and get back to work. The mouth of the Mystic is a little confusing. You have the Western Pass, you can come in this way, or you can come in the Eastern Pass, but as you're coming in the Eastern Pass, you have to be really mindful of these navigation buoys, because if you do not pay attention to where you are going, you will be up on the rocks. And we usually take the East Passage. It's really pretty, and it's a much more direct route to Block, which is where we are headed. So we would add quite a bit of time to our trip if we went out the other way. And the trip down the Mystic is about 25 minutes from our marina.
Because coming from that direction, we should be getting waves coming down from the race, and there's nothing there.
We should. No, it's flat, calm, beautiful. Wind has died down. So just in the river was a little bit crazy. Out here is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Oops. When you're headed down the river, you have to be aware that the train bridge can sometimes catch you and hold you for about, I think it's 20 minutes is pretty normal. We've been caught for a longer period of time when they were having difficulties and needed to repair the bridge. So that's something you have to factor in, and you have to be kind of comfortable idling and keeping your position, which can be a little bit unnerving for people the first time they come up the river. The geologic features that we see in this area is called a Rue Montagne, or whaleback rock. Latimerese light. It's our beacon, either that the adventure is beginning, we're finally out of Fisher Island Sound, or just about out, or on the way home, we're just about home. We are headed to Wickapisset Pass. It cuts about 20 minutes off our trip. A lot of people don't want to take it because it's a little unnerving. You've got Fisher Island on the right, and there's a pile of rocks on your left. And so a lot of people don't really like going through there. You do have to be careful and go through with the current. Do not want to try to buck a current as you're going through Wickapisset. The other option is a Watch Hill Passage, which is obviously a longer trip. Gorgeous, great to see the lighthouse and the beach. It's really pretty over there. It just adds time to the trip. I'm assuming with these two big cats roaring behind me that you can't hear a whole lot of what I'm saying. But on the end of Fisher Island is this beautiful, beautiful home. I'll add some pictures once we get closer. So that's the rock pile that has people kind of freaked out when they try to go through Wickapisset or even think about going through it. And it's usually exposed at all tides. You can see in the center there's actually grass growing on it, so it's not like it's ever completely hidden. But depending on the tide, a lot more of it can be underwater. And it's pretty intimidating. You see along the beach that white strip, and then about the center there's this gigantic white, it's actually the rocks that are there to protect the property that is owned by Taylor Swift. It was less noticeable before she purchased it and had the wall redone. It had been covered with Rosa rugosa, beautiful pink beach roses. It's now. That sparkle in the distance is an old Mylar balloon. And a little bit further, we have some shipping plastic. That's the sad part. People use our oceans like trash cans. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes without even realizing that's what they're doing. And we've got another Mylar balloon. Currently anchored, as there are absolutely no mooring balls available.